let's get started. At the beginning here, I do want to thank everybody who sent in their questions, and please keep them coming. You know, there's so many things in skydiving that don't get discussed that need to be talked about. So I'll just give my opinions about these things. So the first one we got from a fellow named Gordon. He asked about door fear. I get that one a lot. So what we mean by this, some people call it the door monster. You know, when the door comes open, lots of people really get kind of paralyzed, and it's natural. I mean, I would start right there and say, if you don't have some sort of kind of shock and awe response at the beginning of your skydiving career when the door opens, you know, I don't know. I don't know what that means, actually. I would be surprised. How's that? I won't make a judgment about it. So when you think about where is this coming from, right? Where does a fear blossom from? Well, it blossoms from conditioning, and it blossoms from our basic genetic predisposition to have a startle response to certain things like, oh my God, the airplane has a hole in it. You know, that I could fall out. This is natural. It's normal. That said, there's very little about skydiving that is fully natural and normal, which means that our responses can be different from what does come up for us. The sort of cringe and hold your breath and lean away from the door and not want to stick your head outside and look down and really see, you know, traffic things that you need to be looking for. You need to be looking for also, you know, where's the airplane moving, right? Are we in the correct location to jump out, or should we wait longer? Do we need to go around? All that stuff. And you can't effectively do that when you're cowering on the opposite side of the airplane because you're afraid you're going to fall out. So I think it's important to spend time in the early part of our skydiving career. Works better if we're in a Cessna, but if you can open up the door very early on the jump run, or even not on the jump run, you know, just in the climb out, talk to the pilot about it. Say, I want to get used to, you know, sitting in the door, and put yourself right there at the door. Be the one to open it if you can, so you can, you know, sort of learn how to do that the right way, and spend enough time in the door of the airplane with it open while the thing's flying, with all the noise and the wind and the cold, and find a way to, you know, exhale slow, relax your muscles. What do I need to do right now? Well, I certainly want to make sure I don't fall out if the airplane hits a little turbulence. That said, it's not so easy to fall out of the plane, right? And you already know this. The air blows in. It doesn't suck you out like in a Wesley Snipes movie or something. And so given all that, I think it's important to stick your head outside and enjoy the wind on your face and enjoy the feeling of it. Maybe stick your hand outside and kind of do one of these where you fly your hand in the wind. It's just like driving in a car. And of course, as an intermediate stage of our conditioning to this stressful situation, to make it less stressful for you, to expand your comfort zone, why not do it in a car too? You know, when you're driving on a highway, stick your head outside. Maybe not when you're the driver, but, you know, kind of get used to the wind, find out how to breathe. It's the same technique you use in free fall, right? You try to keep your mouth closed and you breathe through your nose. And, you know, sort of acclimatize yourself to that environment where you start to enjoy it. You start to have fun being in the door. You know, to look around a little bit and sort of enjoy yourself. And if you can, you know, look back into the airplane at somebody else and you sort of open up your mouth and your whole face inflates, you know, it's kind of fun, right? To make light of it is very helpful. You know, the first thing to go, I notice when people really get scared, is their sense of humor. And along with it, same kind of parts of the brain is your prefrontal cortex, your creativity, your ability to see answers beyond your expectations, to be brilliant in the hot moment. You lose that when you start getting freaked out. Negative emotion in general, right, including anger. We get ourselves into this place where we're not funny, you know, and we're not our full selves. And so if you can spend enough time and sort of be playful, you know, bring out your inner child while your head's hanging out of an airplane where you're not pressed for time, you know, with people yelling, go, 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 climb out. I think part of it is that people feel rushed, you feel pushed, and you don't want to feel pushed into a dangerous situation like falling out of a plane. Um, and so I would start with that one. Another part of this is to do some visualization ahead of time. You know, maybe sit in the airplane when it's not flying a load. Just sit there in the door and calm yourself down, as you know, deeper than you ever have. You know, really, really relaxed breathing, full inhales all the way in. Hold it for a moment, slowly let it out, and relax into your comfortable balance as you sit there in the door. Just, you know, quiet airplane on the tarmac, and kind of calm yourself down and sort of, you know, just look around and study the details of it. Right. And of course, when the airplane's on the ground, it looks a little bit different. The gear sits a little higher because, you know, it's under load. The airplane hangs a little lower. The wing hangs a little lower because it's not being lifted. But nevertheless, at least, you know, it's working you towards your goal little by little. So if you spend enough time in that circumstance, and even if you just do it at home, you sort of meditate, calm yourself out. You know, maybe you got to do it in the hot bath. You get yourself into a calm state of mind, and picture yourself in the door of an airplane, feeling powerful, feeling good. You know, the opposite of fear, or at least one of its opposites, in my experience, is to feel powerful, to feel empowered, to solve your problems, to create safety, to not feel like a victim of the circumstance. And you're not a victim of the door. You know, when the door comes open, maybe it's you that opens it, maybe it's not, but you're the one that chose to be in that airplane. You're the one that chose to put the rig on. And so if you recognize that, I think that's going to be very, very helpful. There's a lot to the door fear than just, you know, sort of the Pavlov's dog response. And one of the things that I think is important to also consider is that maybe you don't feel so comfortable with your knowledge level when it comes to skydiving. Maybe you're the kind of person that needs to learn more. Maybe you need to physically rehearse more, you know, the climb out process, every little detail of it. Have somebody that's really, really good at it walk you through what they do, how do they move, how do they feel. Maybe you sit in the plane on a jump load and you don't even plan on jumping. You just watch everybody climb out, and you watch the really experienced people and how they move into the door, where they put their hands, how confident they look, and how happy they look, right? And so you start to incorporate some of their behavior patterns into you. I think all of this stuff, it's important to sort of separate the ego out of it. This is who I am. I have door fear. No, that's just who you've been. That's who you've been acting like, the role that you've been playing, which means that you're equally likely to be able to play a different role if the power of your will becomes greater than the power of your fear and the power of the inertia of what you've been doing and how you've been relating to this stuff, how you've been thinking about it. The other one that seems to help people with the door fear is to, on the jump load, as you're sitting there, to be physically more relaxed, you know, to lean back in a way that is not effortful. You know what I mean? Where you're calm and kind of chilled out, and you're not looking around a whole lot, but you're aware of everything. But you can be aware without twitchy eyes. You know, you can be breathing without hyperventilating. So do the things that you would do if you were calm, and then you will become calm. You know, act it. You know, play the part. They say fake it till you make it, and they'd be right. Right. So you do these things as you sit in the plane, and you anticipate, yeah, I can see we're getting close to it. And you feel that wave of adrenaline as you get closer to the door, to the door opening and you exiting it. And when you start to feel that adrenaline, rather than interpret it as fear, and then it becomes this cycle of physical sensation of adrenaline, interpreted it as fear, feel shameful about your fear. And then that kicks in a higher level of the adrenaline through the behavior patterns that you carry out when you're like, oh, why am I so scared? You know, you feel bad about that stuff and you feel helpless. So instead, when you feel that wave of adrenaline, say, woohoo! Yes, this is great. I'm excited. And yes, I'm nervous. Yes, it's all right. It's cool. It's normal to be nervous, right? If you can sort of lean into the adrenaline and choose to enjoy it, right? What is the difference between sort of exuberance and terror? It's how you relate to it, how you choose to experience it. And so if you were to sort of switch on the yes, you know what I mean? The cosmic yes within you that says, I chose to be here. I'm enjoying this thing. I can always choose not to go right up to the very last second. And once I leave the plane, I have to choose to be on the skydive because I'm, Sir Isaac Newton's in the driver's seat. But before then, when you're sitting in the plane, you have the no-go button. You know what I mean? You can say no, especially when you make other people's opinions less important than your own, right? That's empowerment. And in this intense moment, you sort of just enjoy the wave of energy. That's all it is. And you enjoy your body's response to it because it's giving you what you need, right? That adrenaline is designed to allow you to pull handles harder, right? To be able to handle things more physically powerfully. And that's a wonderful thing. And if you instead, though, kind of hate the adrenaline, you hate the feeling, and oh, this is bad, and you push against it, it's going to be like stepping on the clutch and the gas pedal at the same time, right? And you're not loving it. And so I would say that your interpretation of the situation is really what's most important here. And if you choose to interpret this as what you chose, that this is fun, this is intense fun, and yes, you're a little scared, and that's normal. It's cool. Everybody's a little bit scared. Maybe they don't look it. Maybe they're better at faking it than you. Maybe they're better at faking it till they make it, and they really are calming down because they did the things with the good breathing and the relaxed movements and the eyes being focused and the attention to details that actually improve safety, like checking your stuff, right? Checking the spot, checking other people's stuff, all that improves safety. You'll feel better because you're taking a proactive response to the danger. Door fear is normal, and it will go away if you keep on pushing into that situation and you keep on doing everything you can to calm yourself down, and you drop the shame, right? You drop all of the shame about being a little bit nervous. It's absolutely natural. It's okay. It's okay. Just study the skydive, study the gear, study everything you need to do to get through this safely. And you'll find that the door fear just naturally goes away, and you start to look forward to it. You start to love the sound of the wind rushing into the airplane when they open it. It's the anticipation of your playful environment, right? That's the door to your happiness right there. And if you think of it that way.
So what do you choose? Love or fear? Oh, we choose. I choose to love with freedom flying from my heart where the light keeps shining. And I choose to feel the whole world crying. And I choose to feel one voice rising. And I choose to feel us all united in the strength that we can rise above. I choose